So finding the limits of these problems. So the limit as x approaches 2 from the left of 3 over x minus 2. So how would you go about that? Well, the first thing you can always try is just substitution. So plug that in. So 3 over 2 minus 2, we just plug it in. You don't have to worry about the minus sign. You can just use the number. So 3 over 2 minus 2 is equal to 3 over 0. Well, you can say that does not exist, and you'll be right. It does not exist. However, they usually want you to say if it's negative infinity or positive infinity. But how would you know that? So you can tell if something's going to infinity if it's a number over 0. So we know it does not exist, but we can now say we can determine whether it goes to infinity or negative infinity. So how would you know that? Well, if it's a number over 0 and but we can say that it's a positive number and it's a positive number on the bottom, it'll go to infinity because positive is infinity. If it's 2 negative, the negative number is on top and it's a negative number on bottom, it'll still go to infinity. And now if the signs are swapped, it'll be negative infinity. And once again, if it's negative or positive, it'll be negative infinity. So how you go about this is you see that which side is it coming from. So this is coming from the left side because the minus sign means left. So limit as x approaches 2 from the left. So we draw a number line. So x approaches 2 from the left. What does that mean? Well, x is going to be less than 2 always because the limit as x approaches 2 it never actually reaches 2. So that means x is always going to be less than 2. So then what do? Well, then you try to make this equation equal to the one on the bottom. So how would you do that? Well, subtract 2 from each side, and you'll get x minus 2 is less than 0. So what does this mean? What does it mean for something to be less than 0? It's always going to be negative, right? So if something's always less than 0, then that means that the bottom is always going to be negative. And the top is going to be positive because it's 3. It's a positive 3. So that's going to be positive over negative. And we go back up here. And a positive over negative will be negative infinity. And that's all it is. So the limit as x approaches 2 from the left is negative infinity. The next one, limit as x approaches 2 from the right. So once again, you can just plug it in and you'll get 3 over 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. That does not exist, but we can go further and say if it's infinity or negative infinity. So we draw a number line, and so it's 2 from the right. That's what the positive sign means. 2 from the right. So with limits, as the limit approaches a number, it gets very close to 2, but it's never actually 2. So that means that x is always going to be greater than 2 because it never actually touches 2. So then we try to get this equation equal to this. So we subtract 2 on each side. So all I did was minus 2. So it's x minus 2 is less than 0. So the bottom we're saying is that it's always going to be positive. Because if something's always greater than 0, it will always be positive. So what is 3? 3 is positive. X minus 2 is always greater than 0, so it's going to be infinity, because positive over positive is going to be infinity. As shown here, positive over positive is infinity. And that's your answer. Your answer will be infinity. I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.